what's going on, what we're focusing on at the ACLU, what you can do, and then I'd really like to open it to a give and take, to answer any of your questions about what you perceive as some of the main civil liberties issues, your ideas of what we can do to change that, and answer any questions I can about what the ACLU is doing. I'm sure Elizabeth would be happy to talk about it here in Virginia, and also I can tell you what's going on nationally in states all across the country. So what is habeas corpus? Lawyers, we love to say things in Latin. It makes us think we can justify charging outrageously high rates. All it really means is you have the body. Well, what's the idea of having the body? The idea is the executive, the king, the president, the governor, the mayor wants to assert power over an individual, and they'll arrest somebody. They'll send a sheriff out, they'll send a marshal out, they'll send a police officer out, and they will put somebody into custody, and they will take them and put them in prison. And they'll say, we have the right under the government, under our laws, under our authority, under our jurisdiction, to put you away. Which is fine. You know, you have people who run red lights, you have people who drive drunk, you have people who steal from banks. You need to control them. But in the idea of checks and balances, there's the courts. And what the executive then has to do under our system is go to a judge and explain to the judge, this is what the person has done. And not only do they have to explain it, but then at a trial, they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. These are things we all know. These are the most basic ideas of constitutional practice. And a jury gets to decide whether or not there is proof, there is evidence that the person did something wrong. Well, what happens in a habeas corpus is sometimes that procedure isn't followed. Certainly, we saw at the state level, there may not be a proper procedure. And so what every single person, every person in the United States, whether they're a citizen or not, whether they're here legally or not, has the right to go to the federal government and file a writ of habeas. And at that point, the writ says to the executive, to the governor, to the mayor, you have the body, show me why you are entitled to keep this person. It's a very basic principle. So what happens? We have 2001, the Twin Towers come down, there's this war on terror, we're afraid we're under attack. Congress passes what is called the authorization for use of military force. We can talk a little bit more about that later. It actually came up in the decision today. And the executive, the president, says he needs authority to keep Americans safe. And one of the things he does is he determines that there are these bad people out there who are trying to get us. Now, it's fascinating. If you follow this at all, there have been lawyers who've gone down to Guantanamo. It's been really inspiring to see corporate law firms have stepped up to the plate and volunteered their senior partners' time